I'm going to tell you this right now. So, the government's been lying to you about East Palestine from the beginning. And the reason I can tell you this is because I work with these chemicals. I know how they're loaded onto the trains. And these trains are meant that hold these chemicals to withstand a derailment. They're not meant to break open. The only way that they can open is if the hatch is released. These hatches take like 2 hours to be bolted down where these chemicals are dumped in and pulled out. You would have to have a released hatch. Okay? That's number one. Number two, as soon as the news media said they had to do a controlled burn or there was going to be an explosion and all these people died, that's totally 100% false. A controlled burn, like I've said 50 million freaking times, is in a controlled environment where you can control the atmosphere, the pressure, and get complete combustion on all the chemicals. Which, by the way, there was a facility about 50 miles away that they could have did this at. But instead, they said that they had to do a controlled burn. Think about this. A controlled burn. If you started a fire in your oven, that's a controlled burn because it's in your oven. You can control the air. You can put it out. Okay, it's controlled. It's contained in there, right? Go outside and make a fire pit and let the fire go. Everything's going into the atmosphere. That's uncontrolled. So as soon as they keep saying controlled burn, controlled burn, controlled burn, it's BS. Just right off the get-go, they lied to us. They lied to most people that don't know what a controlled burn is. That's not a controlled burn. A controlled burn is somewhere where you take something and you put it in an enclosed space and you control everything about that burn to make sure everything burns completely, or you put that waste somewhere, not a mile down in Michigan soil or dump off dirty soil to Texas and all around the states and stuff like that. This is the biggest lie perpetrated by the government. They literally put the rails back up within a few days, and as of yet, I still don't know if the current president has even been out there. Maybe he's been once. I don't know. I mean, FEMA didn't even announce that they were going to go out until a former president went out there. I mean, Jesus. Like, 8 days passed. You got hazardous chemicals with a long route of trains that shouldn't be allowed to be operating like that. And mind you, it was the same group that was striking for more time off so they could get more rest because they were understaffed and they didn't want to hire more employees because that meant that they weren't making as much money. So you're hooking on all these trains that should be hooked on, going around this old ass infrastructure that was shut down and everything was shut down for years, for 2 years, whatever, during this whole pandemic thing or whatever. And okay, we'll just say it's because of maintenance. Well, when the alarm trigger goes off 20 minutes before the train derails, and one of the things that the guys were striking about, or one of the things that the union was striking about, was getting rid of the air brakes and putting electronic brakes, which would make the train stop a lot quicker than the original old air brakes. So that was that was just washed away by the Biden administration. See you, bye bye. Don't look here. Don't worry about it. This isn't our fault. Well, if that strike was still going on, East Palestine wouldn't have had that happen if their terms were probably met and they got the help that they needed, the time off that they needed, and they were able to switch from air brakes to electronic brakes. And also, you're going to blame train operators when they were given the signal, hey, we have a fire going on, and just keep going for 20 minutes. Don't stop the train. Don't inspect. Don't do anything. You have an axle about to fall off, and we have a warning light going on here, and they're being told to keep going. Unbelievable. The lies that are being told about this are crazy. They're acting like they're trying to clean it up, and all they're doing is moving around more contaminated dirt and more stuff and putting it in. It rained, and their stupid embankment that they made that they knew wasn't going to hold and they knew it was going to rain, floods out and goes right back into the water again. And you want to think that the water and air and everything else is safe. I mean, look at all the adverse effects that's going on. You have dioxins in the air. These people are going to have a very short life, and everyone that's surrounding. I'm in Pennsylvania. That's my border state. Okay, I care about everyone in my border state because that could happen. It just crossed over the Pennsylvania line in Ohio. So all that chemical dust that they decided to explode into the open atmosphere made clouds across the United States and blew right across us and everyone else. Our air quality was off the charts. Off the charts. From all the way from Maryland all the way up to New York was off the charts. Everything around East Palestine, because you know that from the Great Lakes down, all the wind flows out. I have no idea who's in charge of these idiotic decisions, but it was more important to get the train rails back up, to get the trains operating again, than it was to do a proper cleanup of the area. How can you do a proper cleanup of a derailment and put rail trains back up? And as you're cleaning up, trains are literally crossing right through. The government is 100% lying to everyone, especially with that slick move of, we'll test your water for free, but you have to sign this piece of paper for us to come in and test your water. And it's really a non-disclosure saying that you can't sue them for any events that happen or will happen in the future to you. So you just signed away your life to them for them to come in and act like they were helping out. Luckily, people did read the memo, because I'll never sign anything unless I read it. But some people did read it, but there was 152 that didn't. And they are literally screwed because they signed that. And anything that happens to them now, this is fertile farmland and stuff, guys. This is where most of our grains and everything comes from. The government is lying 100%. They've lied to us their entire lives. Why would you believe a single thing that comes out of their mouth now? What, we're just supposed to often believe this, especially with what's going on in America today? I mean, you need to wake up.